The release of the new G20, aka the new 3 Series, is right around the corner, and BMW has released, you know, teaser images of it and whatnot, and it's right around the corner, and I thought, why not make a video talking about all the quirks that I found that I don't like about this car. It's not things that I hate, it's just everything that I found was stupid, not intuitive, just not helpful at all, and just quirky things that I just wish were different, and things that could have just been simpler, and they just managed to mess it up. BMW, if you're watching this, please don't do this in the next 3 Series. Let's just start off with the interior. It's like almost every time BMW makes a car, they build it, they finish it, they're ready to go, and then it's like the last second they realize, oh shit, we forgot the cup holders. Now, this isn't that big of a deal in the F30 as much as it was in the E46 and the E90. In the E46, if some of you can recall or have owned the car before, the cup holder was like right here, and you press a button, and it comes out, does all this mechanical stuff, and it comes out like that. And then there's a cup holder like actually right in the spot. The spot was bad, and I think it was just a dumb place to have it. And the E90, it was even dumber. They actually had it like right here above the dashboard, and you push it and it comes out. Very stupid design. A lot of the times the cup holder would not come out all the way, or it was just a really retarded mechanism, and it would just get stuck, or whatever the case may have been, or your drinks fell, or your drink and your cup just was not big enough to fit in the cup holder. Small things like that. I don't know how BMW manages to mess up, but in this car they literally had it perfect and they messed it up. This does not really apply in the LCI models, considering that they have the sliding up thing, but you want to access your cup holders, you have to pick this up, take it out, and there's actually a spot for it in the dashboard right above this little net thing. It's really stupid, and now you have 2 decent sized cup holders in a very good spot. I don't know why they didn't just think to have a little slidey thing like they have it in the LCI models. Check out this clean trunk. Now, number 2 definitely has to be the fact that folding down seats aren't standard. You have to pay BMW extra to have these seats fold down. How is that not standard? Speaking of standards, the car doesn't even come with an alarm standard. We're talking about a BMW here. Number 3 is the fact that if your car is dead and it's not gonna turn on and you need to move it, you can't. The car has to be on to be put into neutral. This next one is a little nitpicky, but we are talking about quirks here. The passenger seat is only one-way movement. You can't move the bottom and the top at the same time. Now, I know this may not seem like a big deal, but it does add on to the time, and you kind of just wish you had a manual seat in the first place. Can't move the top, can't move the bottom. And this is especially weird because the driver's seat is a 2-way functional seat. You can move the top and the bottom at the same time. Now, BMW did this also in the last generation BMW, but also in this one, and I'm just not a fan of it, and it is a quirk, and I just don't like it. All BMWs come with run flats from the factory, which means no spare tire space. So that is definitely a quirk if you plan on changing your wheels and you run all-season tires, because run flats do tend to run a lot more in terms of money compared to all-season tires. So a lot of us just end up going with all-season tires, also because the ride quality with all seasons is much better than with run flats due to the hard and thick sidewall, which causes more noise into the cabin and a more bumpy ride, even though you're on stock suspension. Now, this next one you probably all already know is probably the most annoying one of them all. No oil dipstick. Yeah, you have to rely on the iDrive inside the car to make sure and find out how much oil you have, but there's no way to find out what the quality of oil is under this engine. Now, this next one might be a lesson for some of you guys, but for whatever reason, if you need to put your wipers up, you can't. It just hits the hood. The process of putting the wipers up is so dumb. You have to go inside the car, hold the wiper stalk up, and only then will the wipers move all the way up here, and then you can pull this up. Now, this next one is in most BMWs, so it's not just this one, but I find it to be annoying, and it's just a quirk, especially being a kid who grew up around Japanese cars. If you get out of your car and you need to go to the back, and for some reason this door is locked, mine's unlocked right now, but pretend this door is unlocked, instead of just going right here to the door and unlocking, you have to actually go all the way inside and press the lock button in the middle, and that is just so annoying. Now, this next one is kind of crazy. These cars weren't only built in Germany, some of them were also built in South Africa, and to be honest, a lot of the N26s, the super ultra low emissions vehicles, were mostly built in South Africa. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. That South African plant, sometimes people even say, is better than the German plant. And basically, I came to the conclusion that the cars that were made in South Africa don't have comfortable seats. Mine was made in South Africa. There is less plush in the seats that were made in South Africa than the ones of the cars, the F30s, that were made in Germany. Why? I have no idea. I read on a forum that some guy, he had a leased F30 and he needed to get some work done on it, and they gave him a loaner back. When he sat in the loaner, he was like, what the hell? These seats are so comfortable. And they weren't sports seats. They're the regular base model seats, and they were way more comfortable. He then decoded the VIN and looked online and looked for answers, and people later came to the conclusion that the cars that were built in South Africa have less plush and less comfortable seats than the ones that were made in Germany. Oh, that's just sad. Now, the last thing that I could think of was hands down the seatbelt chime. Now, sure, it is a good safety feature and whatnot, but suppose you want to take the car and you want to move it from one spot to another, or you need to quickly just move the car and then park, and you're not driving anymore and you don't want to sit in the car with your seatbelt on. Obviously, because it's just, why would you want to sit with the seatbelt on if you're not driving? Basically, what happens is, if you're driving and then you come to a stop and the car senses that you've been over 20 miles per hour without your seatbelt on, the seatbelt chime turns on, and then you think, if I put the car in park, it'll turn off. It doesn't turn off. Don't believe me? Watch this. I'm just on my merry way, driving my BMW 3 Series. Oh no, the infamous seatbelt chime. I'm only moving my car for a second. Why would I put my seatbelt on? I know some of you are gonna argue, you should always have your seatbelt on. Not if you're in a parking lot trying to move the car for just a second and you just need to quickly move and then get out or whatnot, and you need to pull over right here. Boom, park up. All right, it's in park.